Oh, okay. So I'm sitting in my car just outside my office, not wanting to look at the camera because it's awkward. Just, all day today I've been a little unsettled and feeling shaky. Shit. So I guess I should start with saying probably there's gonna be some profanity with all of this, because I know myself. I was expecting to get this emotional right away, but I felt like it was important to, this is hard, to give you a perspective on what some of us experience as survivors when things come up that bring all of these emotions back to the surface. So I'm sorry, this is gonna be harder than I thought. I just feel like if I'm gonna sit here and say I want an open dialogue about this, then I need to have the courage to talk about my experiences. So bear with me, I'm sorry. My name's Kirsten. I was born and raised here in Utah, and then I spent most of my adult life on the East Coast. I moved back here after my husband and I split up. I'm 40 years old. I have an 11-year-old daughter. My favorite color is blue. I love the rain, and it's raining right now, so I'm actually taking a little bit of strength from that. I'm super geeky. I love movies. I am a belly dancer and a burlesque dancer. Currently serving as Ms. Gay, Utah. And I think on the surface, people see someone who's strong and capable, who's kept her shit together. Being a single mom is hard. I've tried hard in the last couple of years to be very open, I guess, to a degree, about being a survivor of sexual assault, harassment, and rape. I could have written all of this in an email, but I just felt like it was important to put a face with the words, I guess. I do a bit of writing, so I have the tendency to kind of go over and over what I've typed to make it polished, and I just... because this feels so raw and visceral for me, I needed you to see that. It's hard to describe myself as a survivor because it makes it more real. If I don't talk about it, then I can almost pretend like it never happened. The first time I remember experiencing sexual harassment was in middle school. The quote-unquote simple act of boys flipping the bra straps of their female classmates. I've got, even when I was skinny, I've got a pretty big ass, so that would get grabbed all the time when I was walking down the hall. I was very shy when I was younger. I was raised LDS, so I was fairly conservative, quiet, like most kids that age, very self-conscious. It happened to everybody I knew, so I never would have thought to say anything about it. And I didn't until I was older. Until I started hearing about some of the experiences my daughter was having. And she and I have had many very frank conversations about what's appropriate and what's not, about consent in particular. It's been hard for me to reframe some of my experiences. It's been hard to reprogram, I guess, my brain to simple things like I need to ask someone if they want a hug before just hugging. To me, it's an act of love. Some people don't like to be touched. Even my daughter, I always ask her first. Because she needs to know that she can say no, and she needs to practice it. When something happens, it's not fight or flight. For me, it was always freeze. Even now, the cat calls, and I'm not talking about like in a burlesque performance, because I expect that's different, because I'm in control. You're like just driving or walking, like you can't, it's always there. And I still freeze. And then I get this sense of imposter syndrome. I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be a spokesperson. I'm too scared. I could swear like a Quentin Tarantino movie, but when I'm in that experience, I can't think of anything. And it's scary. It's scary. The first time I was sexually assaulted, I was 18. I was at a male friend's house. We were watching Akira. And he just started kissing me and pawing at me and trying to take my shirt off. And I couldn't understand what was happening because we were just friends. He had a crush on my roommate. And I did not know what to do because nobody had ever talked to me about that. What do you do when it's one of your friends? And I was so scared, and I think that's the part that gets overlooked. I was so scared. I didn't know what to say, I didn't know what to do, and finally I was able to physically, even though he outweighed me by like 100 pounds, I was so small back then. I was also a ballerina, so it was kind of strong. I was able to physically shove him off me. And he apologized, and I told him it was okay, but it wasn't okay. It was 20 years ago, and I still feel like I did something wrong. I have been raped 3 times. First time again was a friend. It was a fuck buddy. And he raped me while I was drunk and passed out at his house. I thought it was safe to be around him. The only reason I knew is because he had to remove my tampon to do it. And I do not have sex when I'm on my period. I'm sorry, I know this is graphic. But who am I gonna tell? I'd been drinking, I'd fucked him before. No one's gonna think that that's rape. He took away my choice. Second time was also someone I was dating. He was recovering from strep throat. He wanted to have sex. I didn't. I said no multiple times. But he wanted what he wanted. I couldn't fight him off that time. I didn't want him to hurt me either, so I just laid there. And again, what am I gonna say? Who am I gonna report it to? The last time, and I pray to every god I know that it will be the last time. It was 2 years ago with my ex-girlfriend. She was hurting me. I kept asking her to stop. She didn't. She thought it was a fun game, like dominance and submission. But that's not how that's supposed to be. I loved her, and she did that to me, so even now, I still think, what did I do wrong? In my head, I know it was them, but I also know that if you were to go back and ask them if you ever raped anybody, they'd all three of them say no. The guy from college who sexually assaulted me, he wouldn't look at it that way. But what matters is how I felt, and I was scared. My current spiritual views have helped a lot in the healing process. Yes, I've seen therapists. This isn't me wanting to hang on to something that happened. But it has become part of who I am. And not every day is consumed by those memories, but it's always there. This is fucking why Me Too matters. It's not a trend. God, it was something I could just stop doing so easily. Just dismiss it. Oh, I don't like wearing jelly shoes anymore. That's so 1980s. I'm done with that trend. I don't know who I would have been if all of those things hadn't happened to me. I will never know who that girl might have turned into. I'll never know. And yet, I consider myself extremely lucky because I survived. And a lot of people aren't so fortunate. And I don't know at the end of the day if any of this makes a difference. You've now heard things that only my therapist have heard. This is what a survivor's face looks like. I'm just asking you to listen. Please don't minimize it. Please. Because for every one of me, there are 3 more whose stories you don't know. And they're probably a lot worse than mine. And I don't know what in the world has possessed me to do this other than I don't want to be scared anymore. And I don't want to be ashamed anymore. But I know that's always going to be part of me. And all I can do is try to help others. Whether it's help them feel supported or help you understand our perspective. It has to stop. It has to stop. I will do everything in my power to make sure that my daughter doesn't have to experience what I have. But I can only do so much. Until we can all have an open dialogue and get very real about some of the problems in this society, about rape culture, which is way too real, about consent. I won't be the only one. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I just hope that because it happened to me, it won't happen to my daughter. I know that's not the way the universe works, but I would gladly take that on if it meant nobody else ever had to. So, those are my experiences, and these are my feelings, and I just needed you to be aware of kind of the public clout that you have and influence. This is why it's important. Sorry this was long. I'm sorry I cried and got snot everywhere. Sorry I swore. Thank you for listening.